All right, let's dive into one of the most foundational, truly core DeFi projects in the entire Solana ecosystem, Raydium. Now, you've probably heard of it, you might have even used it to swap tokens, but its real story and its real power is so much bigger than that. So, let's kick things off with a big question. What is the real liquidity engine that's powering Solana? When you use an aggregator to get the absolute best price for a swap, where do you think that liquidity is actually coming from?
Well, in a whole lot of cases, the answer is Raydium. And look, this is probably the most important thing you need to get about it right from the get-go. Raydium isn't just another decentralized exchange you can use, it's a foundational piece of infrastructure that a huge part of the ecosystem is literally built on top of.
So how in the world does Raydium actually pull this off? How did it become so important? Let's get into the weeds a little bit and talk about its really clever hybrid model.
Okay, so first things first, a super quick refresher. Most decentralized exchanges you'll find are what's called automated market makers, or AMMs. They use these pools of tokens, liquidity pools, and a math formula to figure out prices. It's a brilliant system for sure, but it has one major limitation. That liquidity is often stuck, kind of like an island, totally isolated within that single protocol. And this is where Raydium just flips the script. It completely breaks that mold, because it's a hybrid. So yeah, it acts as an AMM, like that isolated island on the left. But it also plugs directly into Serum's central order book, which you can think of as the vast ocean on the right. What this means is Raydium isn't just using its own little pools, it's tapping into the entire ecosystem's order flow. And what does that get you? Deeper liquidity, and ultimately, much better prices.
So what about the Ray token itself? Well, it's kind of the glue holding this whole system together. It's got three main jobs. First, you can stake it to earn a piece of the trading fees the protocol makes. Second, it's used for farming, which is basically a reward for people who provide liquidity. And third, it's used for governance, giving holders a real say in where the protocol goes next. It's all designed to make sure everyone's interests are pulling in the same direction.
All right, so that's the theory. That's how it's supposed to work. But let's look at the numbers. Is this thing actually healthy in the real world?
This is the most important question for any DeFi protocol, period. Let's just forget about the token price for a minute. Is the platform actually being used? Is it generating fees? Is it still even relevant in this crazy fast market?
Well, if you look at the data, the answer is a pretty resounding yes. Trading volume is a core sign of life, and Raydium consistently ranks as one of the absolute top venues on Solana. This isn't play money, this is real, significant capital flowing through its systems every single day. And then there's the other big one, total value locked, or TVL. This number basically shows how much capital users are trusting the protocol with. At this level, Raydium's TVL isn't just a number that helps trading go smoothly, it is a massive vote of confidence from the entire ecosystem. But of course, it's not all smooth sailing, it never is in crypto. The Solana ecosystem is incredibly competitive, and Raydium is facing some very real challenges and risks that we absolutely need to talk about. And this table here, it lays out the whole battlefield perfectly. You've got Raydium, whose core strength is that deep foundational liquidity we talked about. But then it's competing with protocols like Orca, which is famous for its amazing user experience, and Jupiter, which is an aggregator that basically scours all the DEXs, including Raydium, to find you the best possible price. They've each carved out their own unique corner of the market. And that competition is just one piece of the puzzle. Like any DeFi project, there's always that risk of smart contract bugs. But more specifically for Raydium, its success is completely tied to the health of the Solana network itself. If Solana has a problem, Raydium has a problem. And finally, you have to think about potential inflationary pressure on the Ray token, especially if the rewards being paid out start to outpace the protocol's actual growth.
Okay, and this brings us to what might be the most fascinating part of Raydium's story right now, how its role is evolving from a place you go to trade into the plumbing that makes other things work.
And this right here nails that shift perfectly. While you can absolutely still go to Raydium's website and trade directly, it's increasingly becoming a liquidity layer that just works quietly in the background. When you use an aggregator like Jupiter to get the best price, there's a really good chance it's actually routing your trade through Raydium's Beat pools to execute it. Raydium is becoming the infrastructure, not just the storefront.
This quote just summarizes the whole long-term view perfectly. Speculation around the Ray token price is one thing, but the fundamental question for its long-term value is this: will it remain central to how liquidity works on Solana? Its whole future really depends on being indispensable. So, when you put all these pieces together,
You've got the powerful and unique tech, the fierce competition all around it, and this evolving role as critical infrastructure. It becomes pretty clear that Raydium is standing at a crossroads.
Which leaves us with one final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. In an ecosystem as ridiculously fast as Solana, with new, shiny projects launching every single week, is it better to be the flashy race car that gets all the attention? Or is it better to be the quiet, reliable, absolutely essential road that all those other race cars have to depend on? That right there is the question at the very heart of Raydium's future.